Thanks for joining us for Arc Salt Lake tonight. I'm Heidi Hatch in for Brian Schnee. He's covering the Monroe Canyon fire in Sevier County. It is Friday, August 1st. Tonight, we're taking a look behind the scenes of Delta Flight DL-56. It left out of Salt Lake City and sent 25 people to the hospital.
Everyone that didn't have, they hit the ceiling and then they fell to the ground. And the carts also hit the ceiling and fell to the ground, and people were injured.
This was a scary flight. Stormy weather Wednesday night caused severe turbulence for a Delta Airlines flight directly from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam. The flight made an emergency landing in Minneapolis after significant turbulence. The airline says 25 people on board flight DL-56 were taken to the hospital. The 275 customers and 13 crew members landed just before 8 o'clock, with the airport fire department and paramedics waiting to treat the injured on board. Delta confirming 7 of their crew members were treated and released from the hospital. Passengers were treated as well, but the airline could not provide that exact number. Delta performed a special out-of-schedule flight to take those passengers from Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport to Amsterdam, where they intended the original flight path. Liv Kelleher spoke to one passenger who says the airplane staff did what they could for the passengers, but the serious turbulence hit too hard, too fast. He says he is grateful that he and his wife were wearing their seatbelts. Those who were not were thrown about the cabin. Listen in.
Did you think when you started your travels yesterday that you're going to end up where you are right now?
No, we've never been here before, so now we get to put a little pin in that city that we've never been to before. So it's always exciting.
Are you planning on continuing on to Amsterdam and resuming your travels?
Yeah, so the reason why we were taking the flight is because of our charity, I Care for Kids, and we were actually on our way to Nairobi, Kenya, where we do vision screenings and eye exams and glasses. So we're going to Amsterdam with a little bit of layover, and then on to Nairobi.
One, amazing work that you do. And it's encouraging to hear that you're going to continue to do that. How much has this delay impacted the rest of your travel plans, and have you been able to sort through how to get to your final destination?
Yeah, so Delta Airlines have been amazing. By this morning, we were all rebooked on different flights. So aside from the incident, it's a delay of 1 day, so it's not the worst thing in the world. They put us up in a hotel and a meal, so, and Ubers us back and forth, so it was kind of nice.
Can you start taking me through that specific moment in the flight when the turbulence hit?
Yeah, so we were it was a normal flight. We were toward the front of the plane. It was pleasant. It was smooth. We had taken our seatbelts off, and I think the flight attendants were starting the meal service. I know toward the back of the plane, the people had their food. Ours hadn't come yet. And then all of a sudden, we hit the most severe turbulence I've ever experienced. And we fly quite a bit. And soon as that happened, my wife and I were sitting next to each other. We put our seat belts on, and then it calmed down a little bit, and then it got worse. And then it calmed down for a minute, and then it got worse. So it was turbulence like we've never experienced before. My wife was just telling me that we have a nephew who was explaining to her what turbulence is, and it's like flying through boiling water. There's all these bubbles, and you're kind of bouncing around that. I gotta say, we've experienced turbulence before, and that's not what it felt like to us. To me, it felt like we were flying through the eye of a storm, like through a tornado. Probably not what it was, but that's how I'm associating it. and there was hail, the pilot said, and it was so severe. I really thought the plane was going to come apart. And so I've never experienced that before. I did experience a tornado, and that's where my mind went. But from what I understand, we went up about 500 feet and then went back down to the 37,000 foot level where we were flying, and then down another 1,000 or so feet. People in the back of the plane thought we were nosediving. We felt it as though the plane just flat went down. Everything around us was flying in the air. People toward the back of the plane, the beverage cart hit the ceiling and came down. Some people were severely hurt with broken bones, broken ribs and things. A lot of panicking. Yeah, it's something like we've never experienced before. For a moment, I really thought we were going to die.
It sounds like such a frightening experience. I think anyone who's experienced even a little bit of bad turbulence, to think of that on the extreme is just so scary. When you had that moment where you realize this is worse than I've experienced before, what was going through your head? What did you feel like there was anything you could do in that moment?
Yeah, we were we were objects being acted upon. There was nothing really we could do other than put our seatbelts on. I held my wife's hand. We looked at each other and just shrugged our shoulders and smiled and tried not to panic because that would just scare other people and make us more scared. But yeah, it frightening. Nothing we could do whatsoever. We're grateful for the pilots. Can you imagine flying through that and getting out of it and reacting the right way and then being able to land the plane? So there was no warning. The seatbelt sign was not on. The pilots, from what we understand, there was no radio to them that, sometimes they'll come on and say, hey, up a few miles ahead, there's some storms, we're gonna hit some turbulence, so put your seatbelt on and just prepare yourself, put your stuff away. And there was none of that. They didn't know, we didn't know, they couldn't warn us.
For about how long, from that first bump to when it leveled out, how long do you think that was?
An eternity. Yeah, it felt like an eternity. It felt like it was a very long time. And I would say each episode was probably not more than 3 to 5 minutes. And then each one getting progressively worse. So maybe 10 to 12, 15 minutes at tops. But it felt like a very, very long time while we were going through it.
Usual to have this number of turbulence injuries in a single flight. And we've got to understand why that happened so we can keep it from happening again.
Former NTSB Chair Robert Sumwalt says there are more questions than answers. Modern airliners are designed to safely withstand severe turbulence, but this incident resulted in more injuries than were reported in any one of the last 16 years in the U.S. Everyone is now out of the hospital. Delta Airlines making the following statement just hours after the flight landed in Minneapolis, saying in part, quote, "Safety is our #1 value at Delta, and our Delta Care team is working directly with customers to support their immediate needs." Delta cooperating with the National Transportation Safety Board on this investigation. And coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, how a real-life cool running story could land this young woman a gold medal this winter. They say winter champions are built in the summer, and Utah's Keisha Love is proof of it. The Harriman native is training for the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. And in today's Eye on Utah, Kristen Kenny caught up with her at the Utah Olympic Park.
It's not every day that you get to meet up and train with an Olympian and a world champion, Keisha Love, who is gearing up for the 2026 Winter Games. Let's do this.
I like it. Team Love style.
Yes. All right.
Winter champions are built in the summer.
Keisha Love is built different. Her rise to the top, lightning fast.
The Olympics was my 7th race ever. Yeah.
How rare is that, first of all?
Yeah, it is. It's very rare. It's not normal, that's for sure.
Yep, Keisha Love has got a real-life cool running story. She grew up in Utah, but never imagined bobsled would be her path.
I was running track at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and we were at nationals, and there was a bobsled coach that approached me and my coach and just said, listen, you're a great sprinter, and probably one of the best in the country, but you could be an Olympian if you tried bobsled. And me and my coach were like, dude, what's bobsled?
Months later, she found out.
I held my breath the whole time. I was absolutely terrified. I wasn't sure I wanted to do that again.
Yeah.
Then my coach gets out and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know that what you did was pretty impressive. You could have the potential of making this Olympic team next season if you power through. I was like, well, I love it. That was great. Let's do it again. And then.
So you were sold right at that point, despite the fear.
Yeah, despite the fear.
Sure enough, she made the Olympic team, and 7 races later, she made her Olympic debut in 2022. But missing out on a medal fueled her to do more.
I am an Olympian, but every Olympian's dream, right? You make it to that one step, you're like, all right, I want to bring home a medal. I want to bring home a medal to my country and my family and my community.
So in 2023, Keisha made the bold move from sled pusher to pilot, the one in charge, the one who steers.
We had nobody up and coming who was able to eventually take those reins and be able to bring our program to glory.
A role that usually takes years to master, but in just her 2nd season as a pilot, Keisha Love became a world champion. Now she's eyeing her first Olympic medal this winter in Milan.
We needed more leaders. We needed more people to kind of help carry on that legacy.
A legacy built by the women before her, and one Keisha hopes to carry forward, especially for young women of color.
I hope that I can be the role model that other ladies were for me, and especially for the younger generations, and especially the women of color in Utah. Winter sports are predominantly white, and to know that there is a place for people that look like me.
Wishing her the best as she continues training. We're always looking for people and stories to feature in our Eye on Utah segments. If you have a story idea, email us eyeonutah@KUTV.com.
Be careful if you're parking on dry grass with a hot engine. Be careful with chains. If you're pulling a trailer, keep those chains off the ground. Let's be smart out there and make sure that we're not creating any more fires.
Governor Spencer Cox arriving in Monroe this morning, giving that press conference, asking Utahns to be more cautious of the wildfire danger. Right now, a state of emergency is in effect for the entire state. The executive order unlocks state resources to protect homes, water, and livestock.
Understand that this could happen anywhere in the state right now. We need you. I haven't begged in a long time. I'm begging people right now to please exercise extreme caution. One spark and we could have another fire just like this, and that means shrinking resources, right? We're able to throw everything at this one because we don't have other major fires in the state right now. But the only way to prevent that from happening is for people to make really, really smart decisions and avoid the dumb ones.
Avoid the dumb ones, all of us. Water scooping aircraft, or super scoopers, have been dipping from both Paiute and Cashiram Reservoir. They're hitting different portions of the fire. Power has been restored to most of Wayne County thanks to Garcane Energy crews who were able to make temporary repairs to the power lines. Well, KUTV 2 News is teaming up with community partners to collect school supplies and snacks for our classrooms all across the state. Scan the QR code on your screen to make a donation. From now until the end of August, you can donate to the Back to School Supplies and Snack Drive. Contributions will directly benefit teachers and students in the Granite, Jordan, and Kenyon School District. And time to talk a little weather as we head towards the weekend. Meteorologist Chase Thomason here with that first alert forecast.
Fire danger continues across a good chunk of central and southern Utah, and of course we've been tracking fire behavior at the Monroe Canyon Fire. And take a look at this. This is a giant dust devil, almost a fire tornado if we saw flames, but it's picking up that ash that is on the ground, lifting it up into the air, column of air that is rotating. It's not a tornado. A tornado forms from the clouds, the sky to the ground. This is from the ground that goes up. As we roll through the next 24 hours, though, we can't rule out more erratic fire behavior because it's just so hot, dry, and breezy across the Monroe Canyon Fire area. And that wildfire smoke is spreading into eastern Utah as well, and that will likely continue with these west to southwest winds as we head into your weekend. So if you're going to be along the I-70 corridor, maybe Moab, Castle Country like Price, down towards southeastern Utah, expect reduced visibility and declining air quality. Now, if you're along the Wasatch Front and the I-15 corridor, we won't have that wildfire smoke, and temperatures will be in the low 90s, which is actually a degree or two below normal. So if there's going to be a silver lining, it could be hotter, but it will be plenty hot with those afternoon temperatures in the 90s. But mornings should be pretty comfortable. Now, there's a little weak disturbance that's going to be passing by to our north. It might produce a few showers and thunderstorms across northwestern Utah by tomorrow afternoon. In the meantime, though, overnight and tomorrow morning, expect mainly clear skies. Could be a couple clouds, though, tomorrow morning near the Idaho border. But here comes these showers and storms that develop in northeastern Nevada. They'll try to get close to the northern end of the Wasatch Front by Saturday evening. Don't expect a whole lot of rain. What I'm most concerned about are microburst winds. If that happens, that could impact any Saturday evening plans, especially in Ogden, Brigham City, Tremonton, and Cache Valley. If we see that, we can't rule out microburst winds up to 50 miles per hour. So keep your eyes to the sky, and that'll happen tomorrow evening. Now, if you're at the Kimball Arts Festival in Park City, probably not going to see any of those microburst winds. A couple clouds, hot temperatures in the 80s. It'll just be a little breezy on Saturday. But if you go in the morning and if you go in the evening, that temperature is always a little bit more pleasant up in Park City in the Wasatch Back. All right, our next weather maker is actually another little storm. It looks like it's going to get closer to Utah, but it stays to our north. And again, it brings in more of these strong southwest winds. You know the drill. It's hot, it's dry, and we'll be dealing with critical fire danger across the state early next week as the rain stays away from Utah. But that little low might drop temperatures by a degree or two here in northern Utah. It stays hot, though, in St. George, 103 to 104 this weekend, and even hotter by the end of next week at 107 degrees Thursday and Friday. Windy each afternoon, but our strongest winds will be Monday and Tuesday. So again, that's what I'm most concerned about, is that fire danger. Salt Lake, 93 tomorrow, 94 on Sunday. Overnight lows in the 60s, pretty comfortable. We go 97 to 94 on Tuesday, and then back to 97 on Wednesday. If there is a little relief coming our way, it might happen by next weekend with highs near 90.
Chase, thank you. Coming up here on Arc Salt Lake, amid a sea of what some might consider trash or clutter, this man is making art. Why this artist says his work is satisfaction only a sweet masterpiece can bring. And trending right now, from a makeshift garage studio to a museum in New York City, Daniel Scott Jr. creates works of art, not with paints or brushes, but candy wrappers. Daniel discovered his unique talent in college. Now, 15 years later, the art has taken him all over the country, including Comic-Con in San Diego and a piece hanging in Francis Tavern, an art museum in the Big Apple. Salt Lake City police made a very special rescue today. While investigating a report of a car break-in, it was clear a special item had been stolen. A beloved Build-A-Bear goose named Cedar. After some good old-fashioned goose chasing, Sergeant Masters and Officer Hanky tracked down the feathered fugitive and safely returned Cedar the goose to their rightful human, also named Cedar. The department says they are happy to report, quote, all is well in the nest once again. Love to see a little good news. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here for ARC Salt Lake. I'm Heidi Hatch. We'll see you again for 2 News at 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Have a great weekend.